Hey, I'm going to make a tutorial on C++, making a C++ program. I use Visual C++ Studio. I like this one. Uh, it looks like this. Anyway, to open a blank sheet for a C++ file, you're going to push New, Project, and then you're going to get this thing. Make sure this is on Win32. And this in Windows console application is selected. Then name your program. I'm going to name it test 1, and then OK. And wait a second, and then you're going to get this box right here, and just push next and make sure empty project is selected. Finish that, and then wait a little bit. And when you're done with that, go up to the top and push project, add new item. Make sure C++ file is selected and then name it. I'm going to name it the same thing as I did before, test 1, and add. Then you got your blank sheet for writing a C++ code, so here that is. To begin this C++ program code, we're going to put number and then include IOStream, and I'm not sure what that does. I think that's just includes a library, because there's certain libraries that you're gonna have to include to make a code work, and that would be the IOStream library. Get that down, and then we're also going to be using namespace std and then semicolon, and then we're ready to start the code. And the thing you gotta type in to start a code is int main, and then in parentheses we're going to be doing void. So int main void will tell it to start the code. We're going to start the code using a curly bracket, and then at the beginning of this program, the program we're making will make let the user be able to type in 3 numbers, and it's going to add those numbers together. So it's kind of like a calculator, but it's only going to be used to add 3 numbers. So we're going to begin it with a variable, and the variable kind of just it assigns a action to a word. So like that's the best I can explain it. To start a variable, there's 2 types of ways to start a variable in C++ using numbers. One is int. That's a variable using only whole numbers, so I wouldn't recommend using that one yet unless you needed the person to only enter whole numbers. I recommend using double, and that is a variable using decimals. So if you want the user to be able to type in decimals, then use double. Int is just whole numbers. So double starts the variable, space, and we're gonna assign the word for the variable. So we're gonna type in d number 1, and make sure to type this d right here, because that tells it that it's a double, and it tells it that it's the variable. So put d before your variable name, and then d number 1 equals 0.0. 0.0 just it means that the variable isn't assigned to any number yet, so it lets the user type in any number and it will assign the variable. So 0.0, and then semicolon pretty much after every command you give, put a semicolon after it, so that tells it to end. That's very crucial, because if you don't have that, the program won't run. So semicolon, and then we're going to do another variable, double. This will be d number 2 equals 0.0 semicolon, and then double d number 3, that's your third number, equals 0.0 semicolon. Double, and then d addition. So this will be the answer to the problem that your user will type in. So 0 semicolon. After you're done with your variables, just start it out with cout, and cout is, it's gonna print whatever you type on the screen, so it just, it's like a comment or whatever. It's like an echo statement in command prompt. So echo or cout in C++. So cout, and then the symbols for cout is 2 arrows pointing outward. Cout, and then quotation, enter 3 numbers. So we'll do 3 numbers, and then we're gonna also put another command which is end line, and that's just gonna end the line there, and then don't forget your semicolon. So okay, then we're gonna do a C input, which is C input, and the sign for that is 2 N arrows, and C input is what your user's gonna type in, what it's gonna enter into your program. So C N, and what your user's gonna input is D number 1. So D number 1, that variable, that's what your user's gonna input first. Then they're gonna type in another one, C input D number 2 semicolon. So they put the second number in, and C input D number 3. So that tells that the user's going to input 3 numbers, which they're going to be adding soon. And then we're going to tell the answer to the problem. So this will give the answer to the problem. D addition, and this is gonna, addition equals, and it's gonna equal D number 1 plus D number 2 plus D number 3, then and then semicolon to end it. So that tells the answer to the problem your user's going to input. So D number 1, 2, and 3 added. After that, you're just going to type in cout, which is your statement, and in quotations, the answer to the problem is space, and then end quotation, and then you're gonna add D addition, which will be the answer. Add that, and then I'm gonna add an end L, which is end line, and then semicolon. See right there, end line. Then basically you're done. So what you're gonna do is system in parentheses and then in quotations, and after you do that, basically this is just going to give a command prompt command. So I'm going to tell it to pause system, because without that your program's just going to open and close really fast. So make sure to put this, and then your ending curly bracket, which is, that means you ended your program. So there's your program. You're going to go up to build solution. Then it's going to compile it, and it says I have 1 error, so this will tell you if you got any errors. It says I got 1 error, and I know what it is. I forgot to put a semicolon after that, so yeah, make sure to put the semicolon. Okay, so build solution, see if it worked this time. And it worked, so 1 succeeded. Okay, so go up here, and then you can run your program by pushing this little arrow thing. Then it's loading, and here it is. This is your program we made. It says enter 3 numbers. So you enter 3 numbers. 1, I'm going to enter 1, 2, and 3. Enter, and then it just added all those numbers up. The answer to the problem is 6. And then press any number to continue, or press any key to continue. Okay.